Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea, and it could have gone any number of different ways. Yesterday we didn't do one. I was over at the Plaza Hotel. We did not get single best idea done. If we had, we would have led with a conversation with Admiral Mullen. Michael Mullen was piercing in a lengthy conversation yesterday, the former chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, on all sorts of Pentagon issues. We'll talk about that with Ethan Bronner in a moment. Today, Wendy Schiller with us with Brown University. She starts her fall semester there in international relations. Wendy Schiller on the state of European politics and America.
I think that a lot of these leaders are still somewhat stunned that America reelected Donald Trump from their perspective. I think that they come from parliamentary systems, as you well know, Tom. And in parliamentary systems, many of those leaders have what we would call absolute power, right? They have a party that elects them from the legislative branch, and all their ministers run things. And the programs the president proposes, have to go through Congress and be compromised with, not in parliamentary systems. The government owns the policymaking outright. Right. So I don't think they're at all surprised that the executive branch has become so powerful in American politics. I think they're surprised institutionally we're set up so differently. How did the president amass so much power over his own party when they're not electorally connected the way all across Europe?
Bronze it. As simple as that. If you say, why is Wendy Schiller famous within international relations? That is what she's gifted at. Her textbooks are hugely acclaimed for explaining the complexities of international relations simplistically. That was a perfect discussion of something we don't understand, we take for granted every day, which is the Madisonian American system. And she says, guess what? They're all in a parliamentary system, and it's sort of like Game of Thrones gone bad. But anyways, that was brilliant from Professor Schiller. What a joy to have Ethan Bronner in our studios today, definitive at the New York Times, the Israeli bureau chief for Bloomberg. Ethan Bronner on the Senate, the House in Washington, and Israel.
It's shattering, and there is a concern, especially on the Democratic side, that it has lost its support for Israel. It has only the Republicans and the Democrats, I forget what number, but a surprising number of them voted to impose an arms embargo for offensive arms toward Gaza. And they're quite worried about that.
I got to get this question and Paul. It's too important. Cy from Long Island emails in. Would President Harris do anything different?
Oh, I think she would have done many things differently. I don't think she would have unleashed Israel now. I think the more interesting question is, would Israel have done what it wanted to do anyway? And I think it's a decent possibility that it would have been nearly as militarily aggressive as it has been, because it came to the conclusion that it had no choice, whether or not you agree with that. So, but I'm certain that President Kamala Harris would have acted very differently toward this government, yes.
Ethan Bronner in our studios in New York, riveting here on the mess. It's a very sophisticated word, but I'll say it. The mess in Israel. On your podcast, on Apple, on Spotify, around the world, on YouTube podcasts as well. It's Single Best Idea.